Hello and welcome to the Joy Corner. I'm Carol DeChaine, your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters. And the Joy Corner has morphed into mini lessons. The older ones are all about I am affirmations. So if you want one of those, go on back. There's a ton of them. You can figure out what works best and what you need in your moment right now. But for the mini lesson today, it's all about finding joy in relationships. And granted, this could be 20 podcasts all in a row to get you all the information. But if you want something quick, that's what I want to do today. So, to find joy in your relationships, a lot of times you can't find joy because somebody has expectations. The other person does, or you do. And that's kind of what I'm going to be talking around today. So, if you look at what you expect from people, you may expect things that is not who those people are. So therefore, they don't meet your expectations. And you are going, this is who I think they should be. They should be a spouse who does this and this and this and this and this. And they're here. And you're going, what the heck happened? How come they do nothing? They're sitting on the couch. They go to work. They come back. They sit on the couch. They do nothing. Now, this is only one example, obviously. It may have nothing to do with this but your expectations were they take out the garbage. I mean, the old days it used to be they take out the garbage, they do outside work, they do this, they do that, they cook sometimes, they don't look at the kids and think of that. Well, you're going somewhere and have to babysit the kids. No, it's you know it's their kids. So you're thinking up here and they're thinking here. This is their bare minimum, and that's all they do. And your expectations are, hey, up here, and they're down here. That's not going to make you happy. That's not going to be what you want. So you have to look at what you expect from people. And it may be totally great. You expect your best friend to be your best friend, to be there for you when you need them. But maybe the best friend has 4 kids and they live out of state. They can't drop everything all the time to talk to you. They can't drop everything all the time to get on a plane and come visit you because they don't live next to you anymore. So what are your expectations for that person? If you have that annoyance with somebody, look at how you feel about somebody. Now, if the phone rings and you go, that may be a toxic person. That may be somebody that I don't want to talk to them. Why? Look at why you feel about certain ways about people. Maybe it's a great aunt that's calling you, and maybe you want the inheritance because they're old, and so you'll talk to them, but you know all they're going to do is complain. So look at your expectations is maybe you want money from them. Why? I mean, it's not your money. Okay, this is a whole nother this is a whole nother lesson. But when you look at people and you say, what is it about this person that I'm not really feeling connected with? I don't find joy with that person. And yet, there's times, whoever they are, you need to do the serious stuff. But you can still have that underpinning of love and feeling good when you're around them most of the time. Even, I mean, everybody goes through stuff. They'll have to talk to you about it. But then there are people, and I've met 2 that were really bad about it. It was me, 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 always about me. It's always somebody else's fault. And all they did was complain all the time, all the time. And I got to the point where I realized the first person I met, I don't think they're happy unless they're complaining. And then I went, oh, okay. Well, then I wasn't around her that much anymore. It's just somebody I worked with. But I was shocked because I went, why is she always so unhappy? Why doesn't she do something about it? And I realized it was because that made her happy. I mean, not happy as in the way you would think of happy necessarily, but if you do something all the time, there's a reason for it. If it must make you content or feel you more secure, make you feel better than other people or something. So make you feel right. That's one of mine. I want to feel right. So therefore, let me say, I'm in the past I argued my position a lot, and I don't do that anymore. I'll tell you my position if you want to know, and then we can discuss it. And if I think your position's better in whatever it is, well, I don't really talk politics anymore, but for example, politics or the way we handle dog training or something, then I would go, oh, that's fascinating. I hadn't thought of that. Oh, tell me more. Because then I might adopt their way of thinking. So it doesn't mean necessarily you need to change friends, change spouses, change the people you work with at the office. But there are times when you go, that's my face. Yes, that sometimes I did that. Because, like at the office, I had somebody who was very odd. I mean, she would act like she loved me one minute and then yell at me the next, and I'd go, "What did I say?" There's this going on. And then other times it was like, "I love you. You're wonderful. You're fabulous. You're such a good worker," and everything. And I went, she was somebody that I was a paralegal and she was a billing clerk, but it didn't matter. There was only three of us in the office. So she would get really upset with me, and I would go, what did I do? And I never understood it because she wasn't clear. And I wanted to make peace. I wanted to be in a good place with her, obviously, when you only work with three people. And so you get to the point where you go, what can I do? How can I handle this better unless I change jobs, which I ultimately did, which I mentioned in my last one of finding joy in your job. I tell you more about that job and that boss. But I was looking at it going, what do I do to make this a better position? And ultimately, I decided I'm going to wrap this person in a bubble of love. You can do whatever you want to do, but that was what I did because I didn't feel like I had a choice. I had to stay there. So every time that person came near me, I had another person who did uh, something else, and it was like I wrapped myself in love. So and she was coming to me, and then all of a sudden she veered off to the side and went right past me, and I went, I think that worked. Oh, that's so cool. I have to try that again. It worked the best that time. But, either wrapping them in love or wrapping you in love or putting a bubble around yourself or any kind of protection you need around people like that you can't get away from, it's very helpful. If you become, but if you compliment them or you do something, what you think of as a kindness or a positive or something, don't do it patronizingly. Do it from an open heart, and then you can still protect yourself. But if there's somebody who's grouchy all the time, you can say hello. You can say, hey, I'm going to go get coffee. Would you like some? I mean, something like that. Because people go, oh, yeah, oh. And then they may treat everybody else like garbage, but they won't necessarily treat you that way because they may feel like, oh, well, I like this person. Because you might listen to them better. I mean, it doesn't mean you can get them to be in a better mood, but you never know. So there's a multiple different things you can do to find a joy in a relationship you can't get out of. But there's also relatives. There's friends or people you think of as friends. I think of people as acquaintances or they're not close friends. There's like acquaintances. I consider it theater friends, which means I might like them, but I only see them occasionally. So they're more than acquaintances because I do theater and I kind of think of it in that way. I'll see them for 3 months at a time in rehearsal, and then I see them during performance, and then I don't see them again for another 6 months or something. So I think of them as I'm not close, but I like them a lot, or I'm close when I see them. So there's acquaintances, there's them, well, strangers, acquaintances, theater friends. Then there's friends who may not be totally close, but you see them on a little more often, or you think of them as like, oh, I really like them. And then there's close friends. And then there's people you think of as relatives, as in, oh, well, she's like my sister from another mister or something, or brother from another mother, those things. So they're like almost closer than family sometimes. And then there's family, which can be any of those things in the middle, because you may not feel like you're close to them at all. You may not want to be close to them at all. So to find joy in a relationship, which is where this was coming from, look at who makes you uncomfortable. Look at what it is about them that makes you uncomfortable or makes you not want to talk to them. And then from there, you can look at that and go, all right, is there a way to make this better? Or maybe they're so toxic, you go, I don't want to talk to them at all anymore. I really don't feel the need. There's ways. They call you, don't answer. They text you, don't respond. Just don't do it immediately. You might respond. You might, I had someone who I was helping with stuff, and so they would leave me a voicemail because I didn't want to talk to them. Or I was busy, I was working, I was whatever. I couldn't talk to them. The voicemail would come in, I'd look at it, go, oh, okay, I need to do something before I get back to them. Then I do the thing, day or two or three, then I get back to them. And they got mad because I wasn't getting back to them all the time. And I was like, no, I hear you. I will do it, and then I will get back to you. And then they went, oh, okay, I get it. You heard me. You heard me. I said, yes, leave me a voicemail. I'll answer if I can. Or if I'm sitting eating, I don't necessarily want to talk to somebody, depending on the person. But most of the time, I don't really want to talk while I'm eating. I'd rather read or do something. So there's ways to make a little more cushion between you and people. If you have to be around people, like I said, you don't have to be there all the time. If you're in an environment, I have a whole thing on the podcast about toxic people. how to deal with difficult people, I think it was called. So look that up um, on in my group of things. I mean, I have so many videos out there, and I'm pretty sure I've already put it out. But if nothing else, it's on my website at connect the number two joy connect2joy.com. There's a section for podcasts, and you're going to find all of them there. So hopefully, if you want a longer version, you can look at how to deal with difficult people. And I don't remember if I have the word toxic in there or not, but I talk about toxic people, how to recognize them, what to do about them, how you can adjust with them, and realize that even if you're at a family gathering, you don't necessarily need to talk to people for a long amount of time, especially if it's a bunch of people. When you sit down to eat, obviously, if one person's talking and you're all listening, you're there. You can have side conversations at the table. But if you're in a group setting, a party, a family gathering, a reunion, whatever it is, you don't have to stay talking to one person forever. And you can interrupt people and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I have to go to the bathroom." Or, "Oh, excuse me so much. I promised I'd help in the kitchen. I better get going." Or whatever it is, "I promised I'd help clean up." I mean, do whatever you need to do so that you find your joy and you don't feel like you're being smothered to death by somebody. Because there are people, they might not necessarily be considered toxic by you, but they're still toxic enough where you go, "Oh, I don't want to be around this person." Look at what's stopping your joy when you're with people. Look at who you are when you're with certain people. Are you changing who you are? Are you smothering what your speech that you want to say something, but you're smothering it because you know it won't be taken well? There are so many different ways that you can adjust the amount of time you're around people, that you can adjust who you are when you're with people. You do that automatically. And unfortunately, some of those things make you feel bad. Made me feel bad. You don't want to be around people that stress you out all the time. Like I said earlier, you have friends. You want to be there for each other when you're having a bad time. But it's not always a good time to be around for that person. And the person who will drop everything for you is the one that makes you feel the best. But that means you better drop everything for them as well. Because it's not just one sided. If it is, you will not have that friend very long, or they will pull away, or they will start not liking you as much, or having all of those kind of feelings about you because you were there for them when they needed you. So look at who's there for you. Make sure that you're there for them. I don't think I've ever said that before, but make sure it's not just a one sided relationship. I've had those where I was giving all the time and the other person was giving practically nothing, always wanted it their way. I was 12 or younger. So that's what I realized when I had a friend who was willing to drop things for me, even though she had a full time, she was an art teacher, full time job, kids that were young, husband, had to make dinner after her school. She still came over to help me when I was going to move out of the area and made signs for me to put up. And she helped me put them up. And this is, I got to go. And I was like, "Oh my God, I, you came over, you brought all the equipment, the signage and everything." That's where I realized what friends were supposed to look like. Where friends were supposed to, close friends at least, were supposed to be there for you when things happened, as much as they can be. And then you were supposed to be there for them. It didn't always have to be me giving and not receiving. So realize if you feel like you're the only one giving in a relationship, you're not going to feel like you have joy. You need to have some coming back. So allow people to give you back as well. People want to compliment you. They want to do something for you. Don't always say no because you feel uncomfortable, because they want to give back because you've given to them. If you're a giver, be a receiver too. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it also feels really good when you get used to it. Somebody is appreciating you. They're giving it back to you. So it could be on your side, not just on the other person. Realize that. Because if you are having issues with someone, look at how you are. If you're not being yourself, then that's one thing. If you are being yourself, but you're not allowing yourself to be open to that relationship, that's also another thing. And then there's what the other person is doing that feels odd. It feels awkward. It feels uncomfortable. You don't feel good when you hang up from that person or when you see that person. So, and that's consistent. It's not just, "Oh, this has happened and let me help you and let me listen to you." I know I have someone I call a sister who, when I was not understanding why I didn't get married till I was 50, and I went, why am I having this issue? And she thought I just wasn't used to living with someone. And that was a valid point. But really, I had to talk through it to understand why I wasn't happy. It's like, why is this happening? It's only 5 years this isn't working for me. Why? And so when I told her, you're the only person I'm telling this to, and she went, oh, okay. So you're not just complaining. That's fine. Then talk to me. But she thought I was complaining to everybody. I was like, no, no, you're the only person. I'm trying to figure out what's going on and why I'm feeling weird. And when I started figuring it out, it was like, oh, this is not a good relationship for either one of us. He's not going to see that yet, but he'll find someone and it'll make so much more sense. And so when I talked to her, I got it clear. And she was very wonderful at letting and listening to me. And she had already gone through her divorce, so I'd already listened to her. So it was her turn. So we've gone back and forth, not with just divorce stuff, but with a number of things where you'll find you mirror that person back. And there may be just one person, or it could be a number of them. You've been through the issue, they're going through it now. So you know how they feel. Or vice versa. Well, somebody else goes through it first, and then you go, oh, I got to listen to them. And then you go through it and you go, okay, that person owes me an ear. But some people can listen. They're good at complaining, but they can't listen. So just be aware. Look at everybody in your life, one by one, if you must. Look at the squeaky wheels. See why they aren't working, and if you can put up, and I have stuff about putting up blocks to them so that you don't have to, boundaries, so you don't have to deal with them all the time, or you can shift the way you are with them. But there's also those that are working really well. Don't forget to look at those and figure out why they work so well so you can bring some of that information to the other ones where they don't bring you joy. And like I said, there's always going to be times when you don't find joy in a relationship because you need to look at the heavier things and talk about the heavier things that are happening in your life and decisions and things like that. But it doesn't mean you can't find joy most of the time, one way or another, in the way you look at things. It depends on where you're coming from and how you connect with that person. I have faith in you. I know you can find joy. Find joy as much as you can in your life because this life is just too darn short not to find whatever happiness you can find here. And I always call it joy because it's so much deeper than just happiness. Happiness feels like bubbling and up here, and joy is inside and deep. And that you can hold on to no matter what's happening out here. The happiness may be situational compared to the joy that is your deep soul connection. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I hope that you know that you are already enough to be that joyful person you want to be, to have what you want to have. You don't need to listen to the naysayers. Know that I have faith in you, and I'll hold that faith until you have faith in yourself. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing. And the Joy Corner comes out every other week right now. It used to come out every week, but every other week. And right now it's a mini lesson, and the old ones were affirmations. So if you want an affirmation, look back. There are years of them. And next week, there's going to be an archival podcast that comes out, and that happens on the off weeks from the Joy Corner. Till next time, thanks for joining me.